These two SUVs go together perfectly. I purchased them at the same time and now I'll open them at the same time. But before I do, let me just explain why I think they're perfectly made to go together. First of all, this is a mid-90s model and this is a late 90s model. Second, this is a Japanese motor and this is also a Japanese motor. Third, this is the racing version of this car and this is also the racing version of this car. That's why they go together perfectly, even though one says J Imports and the other one says Mudstuds. I wouldn't be surprised if Hot Wheels rebranded these and sold them under the 90s label instead of J Imports and Mudstuds. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if they just put them as part of a new series and threw in some Subaru and maybe a Honda like this one and just sold them as 90s instead of the 80s. So here we have the 80s. They could just sell them as 90s race cars. I'm sure nobody at Mattel is watching my videos, but if they do put these together in a 90s series or a Japanese rally series at some point, I will still say that they stole my idea. I won't wait for Mattel to do this. I just do my own thing and I create my own series. I don't have to wait for Hot Wheels to tell me these are all 80s cars, these are all 90s cars. Sometimes I just do my own thing and I gather cars which I think go very well together. And these two go very well together. Let's open them and see. And if you know of a car that has as much in common as these two have with each other, you could let me know. I'll add it to this collection. So I'm going to open this one now. And next, let's open the J Import. So this Nissan was also sold as the Ford Maverick, I believe, at some point. It was just rebranded in another market. I think it was Australia where they sold it as the Ford Maverick. And let's take a look. This comes in another color, but I wanted the blue because it matches better with this. So let me talk about that first. I like the color scheme here when you put these two together. They complement each other, red and blue. You can't really go wrong with red, white, and blue as a color combination. Whether you're a Patriot or not, it's a great color combination. So we have blue, we have red, and then there's white accents all around both of the vehicles. And they have the white in common. And all of that put together makes them look just perfect. They're perfect for each other, husband and wife. Let's look at this one first. The glass on this is a little bit tinted. It has a slight bluish tint to it. On the side, it says Hill Climb Race Team. As I already mentioned, it's a racing car. And you could see the engine up here with all kinds of stuff sticking out of it. And you have the Nissan and the red and the white on the blue. It makes it look very nice. And inside the car, this is a chrome color, so the seats are very shiny. They're a very shiny chrome. And it has a blue tinted sunroof up here. As for this one, the glass is a darker, more smoke tint. We saw this kind of tint on the red Ford Sierra, the 80s series Ford Sierra. And it has, if you can see up here, they tried to emulate that look where you have the little strip of tint on top of your windshield. So you could see here there's a little strip. I really like that. It gives it some character. And on the side, this says Rally Art because this was a rally car. In real life, I believe they only made about 2,700 of these. This is a late 90s model. And this specific version, the Evolution version, is the rally version. And they didn't make too many of them. The Mitsubishi has paint for headlights. And you could see the Mitsubishi emblem on the grille. And this is all just paint. The Nissan has chrome. Everything is all chromed out. I would have liked to see this painted here where the headlights are. On the hood, the Mitsubishi features a hood scoop. The Nissan features an open, I was going to say open casket. My mind is not in the my mind is not in the right place today. But an open hood where you can see the engine. The Nissan has the sunroof and the Mitsubishi doesn't have a sunroof. But the Mitsubishi has this little weird looking spoiler back here, if you can see. And the Nissan doesn't have a spoiler. On the back, they look very similar. They opted to give the Mitsubishi the spare tire. They did not give the Nissan a spare anything. And they both have, if you could see here, there's this little knob here. And on the Nissan, there's also the little knob. So they have a lot in common. So let's switch it up to the side profile. And I already talked about this when I mentioned the paint. The colors are amazing and they go perfectly well together, red, white, and blue. There's a lot of detail paid attention to the mold here. You have lines across. You have the 3 lines here on the Mitsubishi, and then you have the lines here on the bottom for the Nissan. This would probably be easier to see on the white. There's a off-white version of this. I wanted the blue version because it just looks nicer with this red car. Now let me talk about the wheels. I like the wheels on the Nissan a lot more. They gave it that mountain climbing, rock climbing, rally tread, and they're bigger. On the Mitsubishi, I'm not too fond of this slick look. This looks fine when you're looking at racetrack cars or drag racing cars or something like that. Even just regular street vehicles. It doesn't look that good on what is supposed to be a rally vehicle. So if you're rally racing, you don't want the slick look. They could have given this some bigger wheels with better tread. That would have looked much nicer. Both of them have white on the wheels, which is what really attracted me to them when I saw them. I saw them in the same store. I was just kind of rummaging through, and I realized that both have this kind of look to them. And just something about it said, this is a perfect match. A match made in heaven, if you will. Other things that these two cars have in common that make them look really nice, the bumper here. The bumper here is black, a different color, plastic on the bottom. And the bumper here is black, a different color, plastic on the bottom. This has black in the front as well. So this makes it look more realistic and adds a little detail. And they even put some fog lights here in the bumper. On the front of this one, they have the chrome. And I do like the chrome. It's a late 80s to mid 90s look. I don't mind it at all. It gives it character, a little bit different instead of just repeating the same thing. But as I said, I would have liked to see this painted. They should have painted the headlights, and that would have made it look a little bit nicer. On this one, it has mud guards. So even though this is Mudstuds, this is part of the, where is it? So this one says Mudstuds on it, and this one says J Imports. The J Imports one has mud guards on it. You could see here around the wheel well, and they also have it in the front. So the wheel well here has a little lip that comes down behind the wheel to act as a mud guard. So as I said, they really could be part of the same series. One more really nice piece of detail that both of these cars share is the door handle. So you could see here that they painted it a different color. So it's got the chrome color, and the door handle on this one is painted in black. That's pretty nice. I like that they did that. These small, finer details, these small little things make a difference. And sometimes people go, oh, this is a really nice car. I really like the way this car looks. Or I really like the way both of these cars look. Why is that? And they can't really tell you why. It's these very fine, small details that you see and you acknowledge, but you can't quite put into words. It's almost subconscious. Unfortunately, they weren't 100% consistent because this has no mirrors. I would have liked to see some mirrors on this one. And you could say, oh, well, it's a rock climbing vehicle. Well, this is a rally vehicle. It makes it look much nicer and a lot more realistic. That's all I noticed about these two vehicles. And as I mentioned, I'm just starting my own 90s series. These are 90s cars. This is late 90s. This is mid 90s. They're both Japanese cars. They're both non-track or off-road race cars. And it just works. It works very well. I'll add some more to the collection, maybe a couple Subarus, some Honda rally cars from the 90s, and put them together. If you notice something that I haven't noticed, just let me know. I'm sure I must have missed something. These two cars are so detailed, and there's a lot to talk about here that surely I couldn't have picked up on everything there is to pick up on. If you know what I don't know, or if you see something that I don't see, just let me know. I'd be interested in finding out what it is that I'm missing here. So